Hey everybody, welcome to the show with no name. We're here with Leona. Is it Doughtry? Am I saying that right?
Doherty.
Doherty? Okay,
Doherty.
well, I made a bet and I lost.
I mean, it's the show with no name.
So, welcome to the show. Uh,
The show with technical
we're here to
difficulty.
talk about your Twine game and
Yes.
talk about being a game developer and talk about the fun that is making video games, basically.
Yeah. So much fun.
Hey, it's actually working.
So let's start with introductions. In case you don't know who I am, I don't know if you don't know who I am, why you're on my
Because they're
my
new,
Twitch,
just tuning in, you fucking
I'm
bastard.
Fiona Fox, my aka Joystick Fox on Twitter.com. That's my co-host Rob Logfett, also known as Rob. And right below us there is our guest of honor tonight, Leona, and she is
Mhm.
developer of what's the title of your game? Ghosts something. Ghosts.
Hungry Ghosts.
Hungry Ghosts. I was on my way there. And Hungry Ghosts is developed in the Twine 2 engine, not the original Twine engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Twine
so I got
2.0
that.
to be specific.
So, first plug your stuff, introduce yourself, and then we'll start talking about your game.
Yeah, I am Leona Jade. As was just mentioned, I'm a game developer and writer. I just released a game, itch.io slash Gatorade, which is Gaydar, AD, followed by ADE. And so that's also my Twitter handle at Gatorade. Yeah, Hungry Ghosts is my first big release. I've done a few little projects prior to it, but this is the one. And yeah. Da-da-da.
Okay, well, that was a very good intro. So, I guess let's start with a basic overview of the platform. So, a lot of people probably aren't super familiar with Twine as a game development platform. I know Rob was like, "What is this? I am confused."
Yeah, well, I'm
Right.
stupid, so you shouldn't be surprised by this.
Okay.
I don't think you're
So
stupid at all.
yeah, I'll give kind of like an explanation of what's going on there. Twine is kind of like well, I'm not sure of all the quote unquote science behind it, but it's based on this HTML generation or a language markup, whatever you will, called TiddlyWiki, and Twine incorporates the various formats that allow one to essentially specify every screen in Hungry Ghosts where there's like fresh new text is a new passage, and then within those passages you can in a variety of kind of like markup coding languages, you can program your game. I was using Twine 2.0. Twine 2.1 just recently came out, and I'd already been developing Hungry Ghosts for probably about 5 to 6 months on and off. I had like fall break, Christmas break, and spring break to put it together. Probably about a total of 3 weeks altogether. 0.0, followed by the sugar cube format, which is like the way the code is written, the way that different variables are referenced, and basically the syntax on the code side. So that's pretty, probably like the bare bones basic, all you need to know to get started understanding explanation of what Twine is. Basically, it produces HTML and lets you kind of like move through passages.
Right, it's an interactive storyteller. So it gives
Right.
you the ability to script stories and tell them in an interactive format.
Exactly. It lends itself very well to like interactive fiction, poetry. I've seen in the format. The neat thing about the Sugar Cube format that I used is that it's kind of very scalable to different, I guess, ambitions of projects. You can do all sorts of like weird animation and management of like your audio and visual assets. Um, like
Oh,
stuff
we got
that's
a
built
little break
into
up
the.
there. We lost you after audio and visual, so if you could say that last sentence again.
So you're, let me think. When you're using Sugar Cube, you have like a lot of tools available to manipulate your audio and visual assets. Um, and so with my game, I didn't really get into. I didn't have a whole lot of need to get into that, but it does scale very well. Twine usually isn't going to be used in a way that like Unity or Construct would be used. It could kind of inch toward it, at least as far as like a two-dimensional, what HTML and CSS
It doesn't
alone are.
really offer
Yeah.
object-based programming at all, right? It's mostly just you wouldn't want to use Twine, for example, to do a
Mhm.
physics-based simulation of rockets.
Yes, that's pretty. That's a pretty good pin.
Comparison? And then, no.
Huh?
Words are family. Don't mind me.
Okay. Um, but yeah, no. The like not so much like object oriented versus task oriented programming. You can like use like code objects. But yeah, you're not going to be wanting to do like very visual stuff in Twine usually. You're not going to want to like do a really complex processing because it's all being done by your browser. So whatever your internet browser is capable of showing you, that's what is happening. Like that's what a Twine like is taking advantage of.
Okay, cool. So it's a great medium for telling stories, for sort of allowing people to put their stories out there in an interactive format, so you can have different story choices. About how many lines of dialogue did you have to write for this? Because I went through it twice and I saw two different paths. So
Yeah.
clearly there's a lot of
Okay.
different dialogue involved.
Yes. So as far as like straight lines is difficult to say, but I could peg it at probably about 7,500 words. Difficult to pin down. Just because I have a lot of automation in the game. Like you might have seen, there were a lot of things that I used and reused over and over. That repetition was like very part of the narrative, but it was also it simplified a lot for me as like a writer. So I didn't have to, for example, there's a sequence where you're ascending upstairs. And it goes like floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, floor 4.
There's a lot of
so on.
stairs. There's like 15 floors. Somebody needs to put in an elevator.
Exactly. So yeah, that actually like technically the word floor only appears once. So it's only counted once by the way the game counts. Provides a word count. But each of like the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 get added back to that word in a cycle, in a loop, and that's how that like that passage gets generated. And there are a lot of like really similar things, like doing the dishes. Another example is right like where you're doing the dishes, right across the living room, so to speak. Sorting the living room.
Okay, so if you laid it all
Probably-
out, it's not a tree. It's because I know Twine, the first
Yeah.
Twine engine was more kind of, you kind of had to lay things out in an even path. There had to be like it almost would look like if you did like a flowchart, basically. This one allows for more circles, kind of.
In a way, yeah. Nodes are I think what you're referring to, kind of like these squares that are attached to each other by lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those are still a big component, but just as far as like the way that I've automated my repetitions, is what makes it difficult to get an accurate word count, to bring it back to like the first question. But yeah, probably about 7,500 words. And then depending on the width of your browser, the line count could be anything.
Right. So 7,500 words is a good amount.
Yeah, it's solid.
It's a solid number.
Yeah, and I mean for 3 weeks, I don't think that's too shabby. It's probably about a third of what I started out thinking it would be. But I got to a point sometime around last Christmas, when like Christmas break was kind of ending, where it's like, God, I want this to be done. I started it thinking like, oh, I can pump out 10,000 words in a week, and all the programming will make sense. And no, especially like being kind of an amp. Like, go ahead.
How much scripting and programming does it require to make a game of that length?
So it depends on what you're doing. If you're just doing a linear story, one step to the next, and you don't really want much complexity, it's so easy. Twine actually has an extremely gradual learning curve. It's very appropriate for people who have no idea what they're doing, people who are intimidated by like the way code looks, can
Code
basically
is terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. They can basically use Twine in a way that looks exactly like English. For example, if I were to type out like, I want to like increase this variable by 1. So I would like do like variable name ++, or like there are a variety of ways that I could do that in code that like to a layman aren't really obvious. But in Twine, you could do the same thing by saying like variable name 1, and like it's actually really, really good to beginners that way. So you can kind of start to familiarize yourself with kind of more just the logic of it, and not worry so much about the syntax.
Rob, you should write a medieval armor game in Twine.
She only mentions that's because I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Rob is actually writing a novel, so he's doing more writing than any of us.
Writing.
Well, you're on your way. You're in like part of the way in.
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
Such confidence.
Sure. It's garbage.
So did you have any previous experience with Twine, or was this your first jump into a storytelling engine like this?
This was my... Let me think. I had a little bit of experience with it. Mostly I had played Twines. Like, there are various developers. There's Oh No Problems on Twitter. There's also Slime Daughter on Twitter. These are both like, yeah, no problem. Very, in my opinion, very skilled writers, and they really take advantage of kind of the atmosphere that the Twine can bring to, you know, like the 1820 by 960 frame that is your computer monitor. There's not like a whole lot of like opportunity for a storyteller to like envelop you using like this limited space, but they do that very well and bring you into it. So as far as like playing games, I've been playing Twines for a few years. Depression Quest by Zoe Quinn was probably the first one that I really put time into because it resonated with me a lot. Working in the environment, I've probably only been writing mostly in Sugar Cube, to be specific, but I've probably only been coding in Twine.
Do you think you're stronger on the coding side or on the story side for Twine?
Oh, definitely on the coding, or not coding. I definitely struggle with the coding side. A lot of things that I felt like, oh, this will be easy, this will be obvious, kind of like I was saying, like I can get this pumped out in a week and it'll be done. That even with like kind of a cursory knowledge, the complexity of the things I wanted to do, like I didn't know what I was doing. And so like a lot of time was spent researching and talking to like people who've either like Thomas M. Edwards or T.M. Edwards is the writer of Sugar Cube. Okay. And so like I spoke with him on Twitter because I was like, I'm having a problem and I have no idea how to fix it. You're the person who invented this. Please help me. And fantastic.
Always good to get help from the person who created the entire format.
Yeah, excuse me, Mr. Creator. Could you help me fix this problem? They probably know how to fix it.
Right. Exactly. But the fact that he had some time, and there is like a pretty strong community around Twine, and he's very involved in it. So the fact that he's had time on not just one but multiple occasions for me to like come bring a question, be like, why is this behaving this way? And to get answers within probably like a really fantastic frame of time, probably about like 2 days was my longest wait on a reply, was like extremely essential to me even being able to make this game.
And if folks want to participate in that community, where's the best place to start?
Let me look up the actual URL because I always mess it up. But there is a community, I believe, called twinery.org, and that's like, yeah, like winery with a T in the front.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of drunk people.
May not be right. I'm gonna double check this. Yeah, twinery.org/forum. Was my number one resource when I had a problem, and like the people on there, whether it's like Thomas himself helping you or one of the various like other knowledgeable people online, like they know their stuff. And like I said, it was a resource that I made a lot of use of. It wouldn't have been possible for me to accomplish the coding for Hungry Ghosts if I hadn't have had that resource.
That's definitely a cool
as
thing
far as the writing goes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Okay. As far as the writing goes, piece of cake. It's very comfortable for me. I've been in creative writing for probably close to 14 years now. In middle school, actually, I was taking college level courses in creative writing.
Okay.
So yeah.
So creative writing is the forte, and programming in Twine is a new step in a new direction. I guess I've seen a lot of people who are more comfortable on the programming side and less comfortable on the writing side play around in Twine, so it's interesting to hear the other perspectives.
Oh yeah. Oh
As
yeah.
you know, Twine is primarily, I would say, more than a game engine. It's definitely more a storytelling engine. It's well suited to telling a story, um, much more so than it is to say. And there's controls for setting up things like, if you wanted to set up like a fight or something, and people do like dungeon crawlers in Twine, but I think Twine is much better set up for story based kind of games, almost like a VN without the visuals, but just
Right.
an interactive novel. I guess I don't
Right.
know what you would call that.
We'll call it an IN,
There you go. We'll call it an IN.
interactive novel. All right, we're gonna have to trademark that real quick so we can.
Yeah, hang on. Let me just call my lawyer so I can make that my trademark now. So tell me a little bit about the process of conceiving of the story, because it's got a pretty deep story. So a little bit about conceiving the world and the story.
So as far as creating the story, it, like many things in my life so far, it started out kind of as like an egg on Twitter. I wrote a microfiction that did not have a title. It was just me, like, I took an evening off to, not do some homework. And I had this idea, well, like, what if letters started appearing on your screen, like your computer screen, and you obsessed over them, and they kind of like controlled your thoughts through this like weird, like mysterious, like obsession with them. And at around the same time, I was exposed to a magazine called Gender Terror, which is really fantastic as far as like paying queer creatives to create like horror content. And this microfiction wasn't suited to that. So it was like, well, I would love $50. I'm going to write this same thing, but as a short story. I put it up to Lucas, and Lucas was like, yeah, this is fantastic. And thus, a story called All the Hungry Ghosts was brought into the world. Probably about like mid-September, I'm thinking, of last year. Around the same time, actually, is when I'm like, and I already have all this, like, I have a short story, so like, from this I can make a game. And so my initial conception of Hungry Ghosts as a game was very similar to what I was trying to go for with my short story. This kind of like weird story of like obsession and losing your mind, and kind of becoming like this because of like these weird letters that you were arranging themselves on your screen. Funny how next to none of that comes through in the game. It really kind of evolved probably when I decided to pare it down, is when it really grew into what it is now. And like I said, probably like, make it like 10,000 words, make it real long, longer much than it is now. And the original idea was it's going to have 5 days, and there's going to be this sense of creeping dread that builds over days 1 through 4, and then day 5, there's going to be like kind of a semi-reveal and an unsatisfying ending. When it got to the point that I was done with day 1, I was like, okay, let's start work on day 2. And when it took me another week to pump out day 2, in any like kind of coherent sense, I was like, this is going way beyond the amount of work that this project kind of like needs. I kind of was feeling that something smaller would be kind of more accessible to me as a creator and to other people who are just getting introduced to my work. Why would somebody want to play like a 2-hour interactive fiction when they can have like a 45-minute to an hour interactive fiction? And so basically I looked at what I had, and I was like, this is a story about self-care. It's a story about kind of like the way that our past lives haunt us. Like what happens to them when we move on from them. So like I think everyone can agree, like I'm not the person that I was like as a 12-year-old. So what happened to that 12-year-old? And that's kind of what guided Hungry Ghosts through the final stretch.
It's definitely an interesting and rather deep concept, in terms of dealing with it in a minor way, in such a brief way. I mean, it's something you could definitely write novels and novels about, expanding things on out. But I enjoyed playing through it. I got the bad ending, I guess.
So that was the one with the breathe in, breathe out, right?
Yeah.
That's actually not the bad ending. The thing about Hungry Ghosts is that it's in a lot of ways it's about dealing with mental illness, dealing with, for example, I have a panic disorder, and so that ending in particular is called the panic end. And basically, like, it can be kind of blurry. It can be a little confusing, and that's really the point. It's because like when you're having a panic attack, it's very disorienting. And so what I interpret that ending as, and other people are free to read into it and see different things, but is like you have a support network. You have Felicity, and she helps you, guides you through like this breathing exercise, and then you're like calmed and you're heading someplace better through that ending. It is jarring for sure, and I can see where you would be like, this is a bad end. Felicity is screaming, the world is falling apart, and like I could barely like breathe. This is all messed up. In my mind, there is only one bad ending, and it's fairly difficult to get. In fact, I haven't had anyone report to me that on their first playthrough of the game, they got like the bad end, which is where Astrid Stoon, the main character, dies.
Which one did you get, Rob? You're still muted.
Yeah.
You gotta unmute.
Unmute yourself.
Wasn't I was just kind of reading when I went through it. I just was kind of reading all the lines and clicking on everything I could. I was like, I have to find all the things. So I clicked on just all the colored items.
There was a lot of
stuff.
Hidden stuff and side stuff in the game. I found myself going back the second time I played through. I noticed that you could click on all the prescriptions.
Yep.
I'd missed that the first time. In the first room, the first node, I guess you would call it. So I'd missed that the first.
I was clicking on it like, is this different? I was like, oh, yep, click. So I went through all the medicines and clicked on all of them. It's like, now I got to find out what all this says.
So how long did it take you to assemble kind of all of that together? I mean, you were talking about like 3 months, kind of, but that's a lot to put together in 3 months.
So I walked into it with a pretty good knowledge of some of the visual design aspects.
Okay.
Things like the way the prescriptions look were things that I was confident I knew how to make that happen. So really the biggest drag on my time was learning how to code in Twine. like I said, it took me like about 3 weeks all told to make it, with like a week for fall break, a week and a half for winter, and a week for spring. Um, and so yeah, so like putting together, like for example, the prescription box, that took me an evening, specifically for that. Um, Various different like little things that switch around within those prescription labels. Um, that mostly took place over the course of about 2 days, and then with some revisions on a third day. So parts, things like, for example, there are a lot of passages where I kind of force you to slow down. Like there's one sentence available, you click the last word of that sentence, and you go on to the next sentence. I've basically forced the player to kind of slow down and soak it up. I mean, ish.
Yeah, I actually got stuck in a loop at one point. I'm not sure if that
Oh
was
yeah?
by design or by the game, but it was. I think I had to go through it like 4 or 5 times. I'm trying to remember
Yeah.
what exactly.
I know what you're
mode it
talking
was.
about.
I was like super confused,
From
and then
looking in your cereal bowl to the mail, and looking through
yes,
in your cereal bowl to the mail. Yeah, so that's another thing that's like, it's often called executive dysfunction, and like most people know it as like ADD, ADHD. It's like this lack of focus, this lack of really being able to keep track of what you've just done, and so that happens if you don't take your meds. Um, you'll like everyone has to do it twice, but the fewer meds you take, the more times you go through that loop.
okay. So I went through that loop. I think
Yeah.
like 6 times. So
Yeah.
Wow, Fiona. Wow.
Sounds like you didn't take any of them the first time through.
sounds like my life, to be honest.
Right, exactly.
Currently sitting in
Yeah.
front of 3 monitors, and I spent 2 hours today editing a video with 3 open videos and text chats. That sounds
Right.
like my life.
Exactly. Having like all these different things to be distracted by and coming back to them is like, yeah, that's kind of a lot of people when I was playtesting were like, hey, I found this bug. You just keep going through this thing. And I'm like, okay,
But it's
try
not
it
a bug.
again.
See, I wasn't sure
Yeah,
if it was
exactly.
a bug or not, so I kept going. I was like, all right, I'm going to keep going just in case, because if it's not a bug, then I want to see what happens. And so I kept going and kept going and kept going, and there you go. And it got
Yeah.
through it however many loops that was.
Right. Right. For sure. And so like, there are actually a lot of occasions during kind of like the playtesting period, where someone would come to me and say, "Hey, like I've found a bug, like I found or a typo or something." For example, playing through the prescription labels, and in the first room, first off, there's Emily Santos instead of Emil Santos. You misspelled Emil's name on this prescription. And I'm like, okay, well, obviously you didn't click the date right next to it that says it's a misspelling. And then like right after that, they're like, oh, okay. They move to the next page and they're like, hey, if I click this like Emil, like Astrid thing, it turns to Emil, then it turns to whatever like the plain text underneath it is. Basically, I was like, finish the game and see what happens. So yeah, there are a lot of things in the game that designed for player comfort, and this is where I feel like I'm kind of dishonest in calling it a game. It really is a little bit more interactive fiction in this way, because it's not designed for player enjoyment. It's specifically designed to unsettle.
I definitely left it feeling a little bit unsettled, especially after the first time I played it. With the panic ending, as you call it. Not the bad end, but the panic ending, as you call it.
There are 4 endings. There is probably like what is quote unquote the best ending is the civil end, which is you've taken good care of yourself and you're able to have a civil conversation with the character Felicity. And then, like you mentioned, there's the panic end, which is you didn't take very good care of yourself, but you're trying, and you fall apart a little bit, and Felicity is there for you, and she pulls you back together. Now, those are the 2 endings that I believe you experienced. The 2 endings that very few people experience, definitely not on their first playthrough, are what I call the murder end, and that is the bad end. And then a hidden ending that I've probably been a little bit too generous with people already. I'm trying not to tell them how to get this last hidden ending.
But you don't want to. Well, okay. So can we get the
right.
exclusive secret here on the show?
I think so. So I'll have to give a little away as far as the way the game works a little bit. It'll take a little of the magic away, but I think that'll be okay. The way to get to and you have to get to the murder end first. And the way to do that is basically just purple links all the way. Don't click any pink. Because up to that point, pink means you're taking care of yourself. You're looking into things, you're slowing down. Just purple, 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 purple. All the purple links will be replaced with red ones. That's a good thing if you're going for this hidden ending. So once you're on, if you're just trying to play the murder end to the end, like I guess it's technically a good thing because you found the murder end, but it's kind of a terrible thing for the main character. But all these purple links are red. You will come to a pink screen, like with all these concentric circles, and eventually you'll get to one that says you can't hate yourself into perfection. To get to the secret ending from there is to press the tab until the word perfection is highlighted, which would normally make you go onward, forward, and press tab one more time and press the space bar. That's the simplest way. Another way is just to kind of like move your mouse over, like pouring over almost every pixel of the frame until it turns into, the hand cursor to click. But yeah, there is basically a link hidden off to the side that goes off into a hidden ending, and basically that's like there. As far as like feeling hopeless, you're resigned to this this kind of death that's coming for you, and if you are desperate, you'll find a way out. That's kind of what that represents. But yes, the way to get the hidden ending is be on the murder path, which is red links. 2, get to a screen that says you cannot hate yourself into perfection. And 3, tab until the word perfection is highlighted, tab one more time, and press space.
Okay, there you go. You guys heard it here probably first. Someone clip that on the Twitch. Probably not. We don't have enough fans to actually clip things on our show. But nonetheless, I will file it away for later. So I always like to end our interviews with a couple of sort of personal questions. None of them are invasive or too bad. But I always like to ask, what got you started on gaming? And then Rob's going to ask at least one question, because Rob's been quiet for the entire interview, so I'm going to make him ask a question.
Never!
Rob, you ask your question
So,
first,
yeah.
and then we'll close on the gaming question.
Well, you already asked the question.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, I'm gonna answer the question you asked.
God, you're so-
What got me into gaming? I got into gaming. My first system, like console, I don't know how my dad got a hold of it. I was living in Saudi Arabia at the time. Like the whole family was. I was probably about 5 years old, and he bought an N64 with Super Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie. And so those two games really defined, and technically Pepsi Man. Although we don't talk about Pepsi Man.
Whoa.
We don't talk about Pepsi Man.
Whoa, Pepsi Man. Wow. Product placement, the game.
We talk about one of the best N64 games ever, and then you just toss in like
Yeah,
one
you
of
mentioned
the worst.
Banjo-Kazooie and then that. Actually, Pepsi Man was also on PlayStation 1.
Wasn't that a free in a cereal box level game?
I don't think it was that bad, but it was definitely that level.
What's the game they gave away with?
It had a plastic case. Like, it's not that bad, right?
No.
That was
King,
my.
what was that game
Yeah.
Burger King gave away? The King Shooter game or whatever it was. That was another terrible game.
Pepsi Man. Wow. Pepsi Man.
Yeah, no, that was before I
Wow.
even owned a console. That was when I was going over to my friends' houses to play video games, which means that there are 2 people on Earth who played Pepsi Man.
Yeah, it's also worth a ton of money now if you have like the PlayStation.
So's
Right.
It's like a $300 game because
Yes.
obviously it didn't sell very well.
So's the
God.
one from. So Doom with checks, yeah, checks, man. I remember that one.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one. That one I don't remember.
I look away from the chat for 1 second, and crazy people show up.
Yeah, he was here earlier. I like that you just keep timing him out just to be really annoying.
I
It's
just,
funny that way.
You want to sit here and watch the show for 600 seconds? That's fine. I'll take your views. I care not at all. I am out here every day hustling for views. You guys want to sit in here and watch me so you can spam your childish and angry comments that mean nothing to me through the internet. Come on, guys. I'm from 4chan back in the day. You can't.
She wears that like a badge.
God.
It is,
Oh,
Rob.
God.
It's like it's
I mean, it's a badge of
it is
survival.
it's a badge of survival.
Badge of survival.
Some of this shit.
I survived the war of 03 and 4chan.
It wasn't even a 4chan in 03. I mean, yeah, but
4chan was hot for like
sorry,
3
here,
seconds.
I'll give you mod lady kit. There you go.
She will abuse the sword. Don't give it to her.
She has it now. Too late. I should also give it to Vaughn. Yes, Vaughn showed up. I'm crazy.
Yep, crazy
All
man's
right,
here.
so Rob, you got to ask your question too. I stole your question. I'm sorry. So you have to come up with one on the spot.
Duck Hunt was the shit. Why did that censor that? Damn you, Vidbot.
Why does it censor it with 3 stars as well? Like, does it not want you to know what curse word it is?
Yeah, it always does 3 whenever you swear. It never does the full word.
It lets me swear.
Yeah, I put no. It's still asterisked out for me.
That's weird.
I put damn it. Is it? And it's 3 stars. So yeah.
It's not asterisk.
We can't swear in our own chat. What the fuck?
I'm just too lazy
What is
to,
the world coming
to
to?
fix Vivbot. Vivbot has all these like
Live.
settings, and I'm just
Vidbot is yeah. It's one of the, you have to opt out of the blocked words.
All right, let's see. I can add
On
additional
Twitch.
blocked words too, but so
Yeah.
many settings.
So many settings.
Yeah, we have to turn off we have to turn off song request as well. Forgot about that. Yeah, so I think that's all my questions, Rob. Do you have any other ones?
So where do you've got your the Hungry Ghosts. So is it complete or are you still adding more?
Hungry Ghosts at this point, like, like I said, it's a third of what I wanted it to be.
Okay.
And it's done. I am
nope,
done.
it's done. Fuck off.
Like,
Done.
Yeah,
Hands
no.
off.
Exactly.
So this is kind of your first foray into the game dev world, as we'll call it. Where do you plan to continue along that path, or was Hungry Ghost kind of I made a game, I'm good with that?
Yeah. I have an idea for a little bit smaller twine, a little bit less ambitious of a project starting out. That's already in the works. So there'll be kind of probably a little bit more polished, a little bit more refined twine from me coming out this summer. And I definitely plan to continue with game development because it's my jam.
How do you feel about people that use Twine with graphics as well as without? Do you prefer without to the purity of storytelling, or do you like it when people add graphics to their Twines?
I'm a little bit biased because I was literally just playing this game right before the interview called Sabat. And Sabat makes great use of sprites. It has basically like it's very simple, very stripped down, but it has just a little sprite representation of what your character looks like in the bottom right corner, and it's a phenomenal game.
Okay.
But for my personal use, I'm not really a big graphics person. If somebody can make it work, I mean, Twine can handle it, so do it.
Sorry, I'm playing with my new lights. I put 2 new lights behind my desk, and they change colors, so I can change the color that's reflected on my face. It's hard to see in the camera, but once I buy
you can kind of tell, yeah.
the same now I have a little pink tinge to my face. I also have the big lights on, so they're very bright.
Yeah, you can see you now.
I know, right?
Office
New office toys. I put in the fancy LED bulbs in the light fixture, and they have a diffuser on them so that they diffuse around really well. And then I have like these Wamoon LED bulbs from China. You know, the ones that are like $6 on Amazon. So you're like, these will either be awesome or they'll burn my house down. I don't really know.
Right.
I got 6 of one, half a dozen of another. You know, I've got 2 of them, so maybe one will work and one will burn my house down.
You'll have half a house.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
mean, that's enough.
I got homeowners insurance. It's fine.
That is what homeowners insurance is for. Excuse me, you need to replace half a house because I had a shitty light bulb.
All right.
Deal.
This has been pretty good. Thank you very much for stopping by. Do you have anything else you want to tell the adoring public other than that one angry person?
I don't have anything to say other than thanks for showing up. Thanks for listening.
Oh, yeah, we need to drop a link to your game. That's important.
I already did. I'm way ahead of you.
Okay, thank you very much, Rob.
I'm Leona on Twitter as @GatorAid, and appreciate it.
Thank you very much for stopping by. Rob and I are going to do a brief rundown of news. I don't know if you want to sit here and talk about gaming news, or if you are done for the evening. It's up to you entirely.
My cat actually has been screaming at my door to be let in, so I better go take care of him.
Thank you very much for your time, and I will flop us over to the 2-person overlay and set everything back up. Guys, we're not even going to stop the stream. Rob, set up a new call for me, buddy.
Later.
Bye.
Adios. Why is that needs to go?
All the buttons.
You're really quiet for some reason.
Am I?
Yes.
How's this?
Oh, that's better.
Put it like right in front of my face. Nothing.
Where's the... Okay, that one needs to go away. Sorry, guys. Just a minute while I reshuffle things here.
The show of technical difficulties.
Well, this actually isn't a technical difficulty at the moment.
Not yet. It will be.
Well, it's not so bad at the moment because I just have to find your face. Oh wait, I have to actually full screen you for that to work. And I just turned off my own webcam as well. Good job. So there's some really normally I wouldn't bring even. There's your face, your lovely face, Robert.
I'll see it in a second.
Normally I wouldn't actually even bring us.
Why is it so much more zoomed in on this one?
I don't know. I have to fix the Skype thing.
It was fine on the other one, but
You just have to deal with it for now.
super face zoom in.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
You can see all the hairs.
I lost your
beard.
little Rob guy. I have to get your little Rob guy again.
No.
It's the show.
It's the show with thing.
Oh,
God,
you know what, Vaughn? That's my bad. I
That was terrifying.
I didn't tell you that we were doing it at 6 because the season finale of Walking Dead's tonight, so people are gonna.
Yeah, we want to beat Walking Dead to the punch.
So, big news in the gaming world this week, and so I want to talk about it just for a few minutes. I know we're like already 50 minutes in. That was actually a very good interview, nice interview. Went nice and long. So, one of the games that I got to play at E3 that I was really excited about, there's some news about this week, and it's Agents of Mayhem, which is made by the company that makes Saints Row, Volition. So, that game has been leaked with an August release date. Now, it's still single player. It's not ideal, to say the least, that it's a single player release. I'm sad about that.
Why did you want it to be multiplayer?
Because it's a good game to play with friends, just like it would be if you, like Saints Row would be.
Saints Row is not known for its great multiplayer.
No, it's really not, but I played the game and it literally feels exactly like any other Saints Row game. I mean, it's out there, it's big, it's destroying everything. You know, it's about having fun and blowing stuff up. Only you do it with superpowers this time. So
like Saints Row the 4th.
Yeah, a little bit. Definitely.
Powers.
So it's coming out in August, and it's on PC, but I'm still sad because it's single player only. But the release date is leaked; it will be August. So I kind of thought it was going to be a release date title for. It was going to be release date title for the new Xbox, whatever it's called, Scorpio thingy.
Scorpio, is that the official name, or is that still just the cover name?
No, I don't think we'll get an official name until E3, and then they'll give us a name.
And the Microsoft thing on Sunday?
Sunday, correct. Actually, good point.
Damn, I can remember certain things.
Yeah, good memory. The Microsoft press conference was indeed moved to Sunday. I think it's
No,
Sunday.
Squid, haven't heard about any giant robot
evening.
games. Sorry.
I'm a little sad that it's moved to Sunday evening, but that's fine. Also, what else? A super hotly anticipated game from last year's E3 as well. We Happy Few finally has like a story to it. It released
Instead of just running around in a gray room.
Well, it released in early access, and it was kind of a weird release because like it didn't really make
I remember you playing
sense.
it and just being like, "What is going on here?"
Yeah, so like it didn't really make sense because it didn't have a story or anything.
Just run around and grab stuff, and there were pills.
So they dropped a big update last week, and now we get some news that they might be doing a movie.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Like, they're gonna turn it into a live-action movie, and I'm like, what? Huh?
Live-action video game movies, no thanks. No please. No more. Never again.
Mario Brothers taught us one thing: directors fuck shit up.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
Until directors start playing video games, then we'll get bad movies.
You guys missed the Titanfall 2 free weekend? We talked about it last week.
Actually, it's still going on today.
I think you can...
Also, the single-player missions will be available post the free weekend.
Yeah, so you basically get the single player for free.
You get the first 2 levels.
Guys, please play this game.
It's tons of fucking fun.
It's such a fun game, guys, and it's really good. Destiny 2 officially dropped. The teaser for Destiny 2 officially dropped this week as well.
Yep.
I'm sorry we're going so fast, guys, but I don't want to keep people here for too long. So we're not going to talk for a long time, because then I got to play video games, you know. I got to have some game time. So that, you know, I don't know if anybody actually cares about Destiny 2. I played the first Destiny for over 100 hours with Zenergy, and we know Destiny 2 is coming to PC. So
yes, Destiny 2 is coming to PC, so I might actually play it.
I think a lot of people will play it. I will play it. I think it'll be fun.
I think it'll be fun for a while. I hope I can get it on sale, because I don't know that I want to pay $60. The only thing that's really going to irk me is that I'm going to buy it, and then there's going to be DLC that I have to pay for.
Yeah, I mean, I bought, for the Destiny, I just bought, like, the super fuck you $100 edition, and I might do that again.
You would.
So.
And yes, George is here. Until we can get his bigger replacement, Fred.
So I was watching. This is funny. Our Twitter's currently blowing up, Rob. I'm sure your phone is exploding.
Yeah, we kind of are. What'd you do?
So I was watching a stream of a person that I really like. Her name's Fuya. She's a TK streamer. She streams for Team Caliber. Used to play a lot of COD. Now she plays a lot of CS:GO. And she's streaming with a friend, and she made a comment, and I tweeted. Someone asked to tweet her comment, so I tweeted her comment. And literally, the comment was, "It's not prostitution if it's helping a friend."
I wondered where that came from. I was very confused.
That there's a thing. Yeah, we're getting a lot of impressions on that tweet. I think it was at 8 retweets and like 35 likes last time I looked at it. There's probably even more out there now.
Let me look. Me tweets.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's. I had a chuckle, guys.
I don't see it on our thing of tweets. Weird.
It's our second to last tweeted tweet. Oh no, actually I tweeted a bunch of other stuff. It's got 7 retweets and 43 likes.
7 and 43 likes.
Yeah.
It's fairly impressive.
Apparently, Jeet liked my honeypot tweet.
Yes, he did. I'm not surprised by that.
I just got Twitch to work and heard prostitution. Yes, that's what we're talking about. What else we got? Sorry, back on track. So Sega released a new teaser for a Bayonetta game. They released a little 8-bit Bayonetta game, which is adorable.
Yeah, that was their April Fool's thing, was 8-bit Bayonetta.
It's super cute. It's on Steam. It's free to play. It's like
it's
one level. You know, it's nothing complicated, but it's just a fun, cute game.
Yeah, that was their little April Fool's thing, wasn't it?
Actually, people are saying they think it's a teaser for Bayonetta, for a new Bayonetta game. So,
can we stop with the Bayonetta games? They're so bad.
I loved Bayonetta. Wow, we are not friends anymore. Done forever.
Yeah. Know how to end my friendships immediately.
Mad Catz is gone forever, guys. If you don't know, friend of the site.
You will get
Alex,
your overpriced, ridiculous number of buttons, mouses from someone else. Sorry.
Well, also your Player 2 controllers that you make your little brother or sister use. Which is how I knew Mad Catz, for making the world's crappiest cheap controllers. But a good friend of the site actually departed from them a year and a half ago, about Alex Very. Dear friend, Logitech bought their mouse division, Jeet. They bought some of their mouse division, but it wasn't enough to save them.
Well, Logitech got what they wanted, better mice.
Yep. They'd been bleeding money from various sources. They went all in on on a deal with Harmonix on Harmonix's last game, which turned into a huge failure.
Logitech got their joysticks too. Nice. Logitech came out on top on that deal.
Turns out that people don't really want to play rhythm games, Guitar Hero games anymore. That was kind of a fad, and it's over. So when Mad Catz went in and helped develop the latest one of those, Harmonix, they put a bunch of money in and didn't get any money back, and the result was that they got fucked. Total War Warhammer 2 teaser dropped out of nowhere. Nobody knew that was coming.
They dropped a picture and a countdown a while ago on the CA site, but
I didn't even see it. I didn't even hear about it last week at all. But yeah, Total War 2 dropped.
Yeah, so the second installment in the series. Apparently, we're going to the New World.
Yeah. Going to the New
Lustria, so it'll be the main faction. Will be obviously the Lizard Men. And
CD Projekt Red. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And then probably we'll also get the Skaven, but
I know they talked a little bit about how world domination is going to be a less viable way to win the game now.
Total War once again getting further away from Total Warness.
Yeah, that does seem a little.
They keep I just hate that they keep her like, but it's lore, and then they don't follow the lore specifically, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a little rough. I don't know. I mean, I understand.
I wish they'd make up their mind about whether it's just going to be like it's Total War in the Warhammer world, or it's Total War with the lore accounted for.
Von Holtz says the rat at the end of Mad Catz was a clue. Yes, it was. Actually, there are some people who swear by that mouse. I've heard stories of people that have entire closets full of those mice because they love them so much.
Bet they're buying them up now.
Oh, they're gone. The stock has been sold out for a while. What else? Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, we'll probably get both elves, and they'll probably also as DLC shoehorn in the vampire counts, the Empire.
Oh yeah, they already said they're going to keep going with the DLC, with the selling DLCs. That's the thing. They were very happy with the sales of their current DLC. So
I'm still annoyed that Blood and Gore was a DLC for $3.
yeah. Palmer
I'm not
Luckey
paying
announced
you.
that he's quitting Oculus, which is
Oh yeah, the co-founder said I'm out because I don't want to get sued.
after. I mean, man, it's been a really rough year for Palmer Luckey. I don't want to bring up politics on the show, but he's got some questionable politics. He's made some stupid statements. He pretty much got embroiled in a major controversy over this lawsuit. I don't know. The whole thing is. Oculus has been a mess this year. I mean, Rob was commenting on it actually when we went to PAX. Like, none of the like high end vendors that were showing VR shit were using Oculuses.
It was all Vive.
Everything was a Vive.
It was a Vive. There was that Oculus area that we found on Saturday that we didn't realize was there.
But like, no one was in it. It was empty.
That was the only thing.
So I mean, between the ZeniMax lawsuit and his somewhat regrettable posts all over Facebook. Palmer Lucky's had a bad year, man.
Been a bad year for Oculus in general.
Yeah, Oculus has not had I mean, if they hadn't had Facebook's money backing, they'd be gone.
Yeah, so they're only alive because of Facebook money.
They got lucky in that sense. Haha, Palmer Lucky, they got lucky.
Haha, jokes.
Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed again, which if you don't know what that game is, then we're not friends anymore. But basically, the guys that made The Witcher
it's never going to release.
It might not.
It'll
the
be
guys
in
that
development
are
hell forever.
Yeah, I mean, the guys that are making The Witcher, that made The Witcher, CD Projekt Red, have this other game that occurs far in the future where you play a cyberized robot.
Cyberized robot.
Well, it's Ghost in the Shell, the game, kind of. Like, you play like a cyborg, and you like people are afraid of the cyborgs. They don't understand the power of the cyborgs. It's an interesting concept, and if it ever comes to fruition, I'll be very happy.
It will utterly disappoint you.
Probably. HTC is not, Oculus is not the only VR headset with a problem right now. With their departure of their various senior level personnel. Additionally, we have this last week a story that HTC will be introducing ads inside the Vive and also tracking if you look at the ads with your eyes. So, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, so they're going to force me to watch ads while I have a headset on.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Thanks. Just another reason to not get VR.
It really seems like they fucked that up.
I can't smoke a cigarette inside.
I don't know. It seems like they fucked that up, guys. Rob, stop smoking your pen. LOL.
Never.
That's why I bought a house. If I want a cigarette, I just have one.
Jen get mad at me how much of that
I have
earlier.
a box of little cigars right here. See? For when I don't want to go outside. Yeah. Oh, it smells so good. I mean, the whole thing is kind of stupid if you ask me, but
Let's make people watch ads. That'll totally make them want to buy our system and play our games.
And finally, we're going to close out with a happy news story. Well, two happy news stories. So, number one, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is getting a Telltale treatment, which is awesome. Telltale games, if you've never played them, Telltale kind of makes American visual novels. They're games that are very light on gameplay and very heavy on storytelling. They make fantastic games. I've never played a Telltale game that I've not liked. If you're interested in action games, they're not your thing. But if you're into storytelling and you like worlds and storytelling, fantastic game. And then the other bit of happy news is that at Star Wars Celebration, which is unsurprisingly, I think it comes up next week, doesn't it? Next month. Sorry, May the 4th. Star Wars Celebration. We will be getting the full announcement. Actually, it's on April 15th. I'm such a liar. On April 15th. We'll be getting the first look at Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, that could be good, or that could be bad. I lost your audio, Rob. you're moving your lips, but I hear no voice.
Haha, I'm back.
There we go. What
Discord
happened there?
saying, just Discord.
Discord being Discord.
Discord being Discord. But Hayden Christensen's also going to be there. And at the Star Wars thing, everyone's like, ooh. And does anyone care about Star Wars Battlefront 2?
Yes, I will say I do. I understand that it's probably just going to be another reskinned Battlefront.
It will be a reskinned Battlefront.
If it's a reskinned Battlefield, then I won't buy it. I didn't buy the first one, and I won't buy the second one if it's a reskinned Battlefront. You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed the interview, Joseph. I know that probably wasn't to everybody's taste, but I like to give the spotlight to some small developers whenever I can, and I think her game was really fun and an interesting look into the psyche. I like to play a lot of games like that, a lot of the .io games. So we'll see if they just reskin Battlefield 1, and if they literally reskin Battlefield 1 and make it in Star Wars Battlefront 2, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to buy it.
That's probably what they're going to do.
I didn't buy Star Wars. I didn't buy the first one. I won't buy the second if it's the same. But if they can return to the roots of the series and give the fans what they want, which is massive space battles, which is something we got in the first one in fucking 2006 or whenever that was.
Yeah, when the original Battlefronts had space battles.
Galactic Conquest mode. Hero fights. Heroes that aren't randomly fucking distributed by power-ups. You know, if they fix the game, then I'll play it. But if they don't fix the game, I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to...
You're not going to play it then.
It's EA. I'm putting a fox on your head. Oh, it can't go on your head. I'll have it peeking up from behind your little spot there. Yeah, I mean, I'll play it if it's good. Yeah, unfortunately, Joseph's kind of right about that one. The truth of the matter is that the last Star Wars Battlefront game was a disaster. Unmitigated
Star Wars
disaster.
Battlefront 1 was a... Star Wars Battlefront, the new one, was a disaster.
And the reason that it was because they didn't listen to the fans at all. They didn't do anything the fans wanted.
Nope.
And so we got a shitty game that was garbage. Thanks for the follow, Joseph. Much appreciated. I still haven't fixed that dumb follow animation. Sorry about
It worked
that.
last stream.
What?
It was working last stream.
No, it works. It's just it's supposed to be in front. I'll fix it later.
It's right there. It worked fine.
Yeah, it works. It just doesn't. It should be the Fox animation should be in the back. I'll fix it eventually. I'm glad. I mean, it's. I don't know. I want a good. I really want a good Star Wars game, guys. I want a good Star Wars Battlefront that I don't have to play. That
I mean, I want Nitro Republic 3, but that'll never happen.
You're never gonna get that. Yeah, you got SWTOR instead.
We got SWTOR, the game no one wanted.
Yeah, it's actually pretty accurate, unfortunately.
Everyone was like, let's get the next installment of the story. What is this crap?
What is this crap? Yeah, it was pretty bad. It's still making money, though, so BioWare's going to keep it. Because it makes the dollar bills, yeah.
Yeah, because they made the shitty free-to-play... You want a shitty free-to-play model? Eve, SWTOR has one, too. SWTOR's is bad.
All right, any closing words, Rob?
Ugh.
That's a pretty good closing word.
Can people learn to play... Can we get developers that know how to make legit free-to-play models?
Probably
We're getting
not.
there. We're getting there. But it needs to hurry the fuck up. I'm tired of these shitty-ass free-to-play models. So essentially they just followed Call of Duty CODs, started great, and then just came to total crap. No, because the original Battlefronts are basically completely disconnected.
Yeah, they're different
to EA's
games. It's not even...
They reuse the names, but...
Yeah, it was just
that's all they
a
reused.
disaster.
They should have just made a Star Wars Battlefront 3, but they were like, no, it's a brand new series. It'll be totally different and cool. Jen, I hate to tell you, free-to-play is never going away. That is going to be the new thing for games. What has a good free-to-play model that everyone messes up? Yep.
We'll do a talk about free-to-play next week, guys. I'm down for doing a whole show about how shitty free-to-play is.
We've done this before, but we can talk about all the shitty free-to-play models.
Yeah, we can talk about multiple shit garbage free-to-play models in one show.
It's really easy to find bad examples, really hard to find good ones. Well, we have a few good ones, so we can do a show about that next week.
Hey, Almondizer, you just missed the show. We're just ending. We're just wrapping up. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, Almond.
So, in case you don't know who we are, our Twitter handles are down there. I'm the top one, because I'm cool, at Joystick Fox. That's me, Fiona Fox. Below that is at RobLogFett. He's the dude over there.
follow us here. Go read the site. Go find me on Twitch because I'm there all the time. We can chat about games or history or whatever the fuck we talk about. And we'll see all of you next week here.
Thanks for watching the show.